join me, we're going to become millionaires.
Oh,
That entrepreneurship always burned inside of me to do it on my own terms, my own life, to make a difference in that way. I said, Mom, it's just like back in the day when at first you had nobody come to your meetings, and then within a couple of years there was standing room only.
Driving 9 hours, sleeping on the parking lot, getting ready on the bathroom,
Yes.
getting up and saying, we're going to do it. We're going to become billionaires. Wow. Wow. That's what I'm talking about.
You've got the gift. So stand tall and hold your shoulders back and lift your head up and proudly put one foot in front of the other, because you're looking for those who are looking for you, and you don't need everyone. You just need those who are looking for you.
Hello everyone, this is Edgardo Valdivieso here from my house in Las Vegas.
Welcome to one more show of Edgardo Valdivieso Show. Wow, today we have a legend. Yes, and for that reason, you don't want to miss this show until the end. You want to stay and see the video complete. Wow, wow, wow. We have Margie in the house today. But before we start, don't forget to subscribe, because this channel is growing every single day. And give us a like. Margie, welcome to the show. Welcome to our house.
Edgardo, it's wonderful to be with you.
Finally, you're here
Finally.
to tell the story, because your story is, it's amazing. You're a legend in the industry, network marketing. And people that is going to be watching this, they're going to stay until the end, because wow. But before that, tell us about you. Tell us about your personal life so people can know you a little bit better.
Okay. So I grew up in Utah, and I have one sister, and I am currently the mother of 4 children, plus 2 bonus children through my husband. And I have 12 grandchildren.
Wow.
The oldest of the 12, Edgardo, the oldest of the 12 is 8 years old.
Oh,
So
wow.
like 4-year-olds, and I just have always been a family person, and just had a really just phenomenal upbringing. My parents, they filled me with belief that I could be, do, or have anything that I ever set my mind to. And so I attribute so much of the success I've had in business and in life to having just such awesome parents.
So, Margie, growing up, were you a dreamer? Do you say, I want to have a big house, I want to have a nice car? Were you a dreamer when you were growing up?
Definitely. I definitely was a dreamer. And those dreams were fueled by my parents. You know the book Acres of Diamonds? Have you ever heard of Acres of Diamonds?
Yes, yes.
So years and years ago, my dad, when I was only 9 years old, he gave me a reel-to-reel copy of Acres of Diamonds. Not audio, not VHS, reel-to-reel. And I listened to that. Edgardo, even as a young girl, it awakened something inside of me that I knew that we could create anything that we put our minds to. And so, yes, I had big dreams.
Okay, so now you say your dad pretty much was encourage you. You're right about
Yeah.
so
And my mom, both.
in your mom. So did they tell you how to achieve your dreams? Did they tell you go to school, get a good job, or did they say have your own business? How can you tell us a little bit about that?
Kind of both. Our family education was really important. My grandparents were educators, but my dad was an entrepreneur. And at one point, he owned the largest real estate broker. He was owner and broker of the largest real estate company in the Intermountain West. And I remember watching him, and my mom was a stay-at-home mom, taught piano lessons. So she was an entrepreneur in her own right. But I used to watch my dad speak to all of his salesmen at the big company parties. And I remember identifying with that and thinking, I want to inspire people like
Oh,
I
wow.
was seeing him. I was just a young girl, but I watched him and I thought, I want to do that.
How
So
old were you at
definitely
that time? Margie, how old were you at that time?
probably 12 or 13, young,
Oh,
young.
wow. Wow. So going to school, do you have a job or what was your first job? Tell us your experience about your first job and did that happen going at the same time going to school?
So in the summers, I didn't work during school per se. In college I did, but not in junior high and high school. But I worked for my dad at his real estate office, and we would type by hand the multiple listing little cards for all of the houses, right?
Oh,
So I
wow.
would type those. Um, I mean, for a while, I was a server. I love singing and dancing, and so I had a gig for a while where we would kind of like serve food, but we were also the opening act for a theater company in Salt Lake City, Utah. So a lot of different jobs. I worked at a department store once. Like I've had a number of jobs, but entrepreneurship always burned inside of me to do it on my own terms, my own life, to make a difference in that way.
So, so you said you worked for your dad on the real estate business and
Yeah.
you had some other jobs too, not only in your dad's company, but you had jobs in a different.
Yeah, different things as well. Yes, and then I did make some money as a singer and a performer. I did some
Okay.
theater and traveled, went on a USO tour to it's the South Pacific, Asia and Korea and Okinawa, and so I sang and danced for the troops, and so yeah, I made some money with my talents, and then I also just had typical like every now and then waitress job for a little while, all
Do
kinds
you,
of things.
do you still sing?
I do.
Oh, wow.
Oh, mio bambino caro.
Oh, wow. Wow, wow, wow. Very interesting. I didn't know nothing about this. Okay. And we got to talk about that. So, so tell me now that you share with us a little bit about you. Tell us how you got involved because you're a legend right now in the industry of network marketing. Tell us the story from the beginning. How did that happen?
Well, I was at a crossroads in my life. I had been teaching junior high school music, chorus, right? I'd been teaching kids to sing. And when I had my first child, um, and I was teaching school. 3 months into the school year, I was pregnant again. And when I dropped my son back to school, back with my grandparents, and went to school after Christmas, I just thought, I can't keep leaving my kids. I'm pregnant again. I just don't want to miss their growing up years. And it was then that I started doing some acting and some television commercials and staying home with my children. Then I made the decision to leave my marriage, and I found myself at a crossroads. Am I going to go back to teaching school? This acting and the television commercials that probably won't cover it. So I signed a contract. My kids at the time were 5, 4, and 2 years of age. And I signed that teaching contract to go back to teach music and theater and a little bit of English. And about 3 weeks before school started, there was a call that came in on my answering machine. This is how long ago it was, right? But in that call, this guy said, "Hey, I've got a product and I'm looking for people." At the time, I was Mrs. Utah. And so people kind of knew who I was. I've got a product and I'm looking for someone that can help me market it. And he said, "It's a nail gel product. Like, you put gel on your nails and then you put them in a lamp and it cures them." And I had been having gel nails for a couple of years. And I'm like, oh, if there's ever anything I could sell, it would be this. And so this guy took me down to meet the owner of a very small company. They were only doing about $28,000 a month worldwide. And I was brand new to network marketing. I had no previous experience. I had 3 little kids. I had no money to build a business with. And I had a teaching contract that if I decided to do this, I would need to cancel my teaching contract. So I don't know, magic happened. You know when you know, right? And so as I heard about leveraged income and the ability to not be stuck in a time per dollar ratio, I knew as a teacher, I could only make so much money. It would take me away from my children. And I knew that I could only be paid so many dollars per hour. I captured the sense of possibility with network marketing, canceled that teaching contract, and jumped in with both feet. And I made a whatever it takes decision that I was not, no matter what, I was not going to quit. I was going to keep going until I figured it out.
And you said that they send you a product for you to try. Is that correct? And
Yes. Yeah.
they didn't invite you over to a company, a business, or in network marketing. They just send you a product to try. Is that correct?
Well, I knew that it was network marketing, but
Okay.
I fell in love with the product
Uh-huh.
because I really believed that every single household in America was going to have this product, and that I was going to be, me and my team were going to be the ones selling it. Like, I really saw the possibility. So yeah.
But in your mind, was more about selling the product, or was more about building a team and
Building
getting
teams,
your income?
building teams. Yeah, no question.
From the beginning, from your previous experience, when it comes about real estate, when it comes about singing and doing this contract, you said, if I promote this product to other people and they buy it every single month, I'm going to get paid every single month a residual income. Do you understand that from the beginning, or was that road?
I think no. I was more about team building.
Okay.
Because it was kind of a product that it was a high ticket item, but it was a one-time buy. I mean, you bought the lamp and then you got the gel. You would buy the gel every couple of months, but no, I caught the vision of attracting large numbers of people because I knew this product would sell. So my vision was to create big teams of people who could promote this product.
So at that time, at the beginning, do you understand about network marketing and residual income, how network marketing does work?
I understood enough to know that if I stayed in teaching, I would get paid certain money for a certain amount of hours. When I saw the leverage of even building a small team of 100 or 200, and in the meantime, I've built teams of hundreds of thousands, right? But even building a small team, I knew, first of all, I knew the product was legit and people would buy it. So I had something to offer people. But yeah, it was about building a team of people that wanted to create passive income.
So tell us how that started at the beginning. You start calling your friends, your family, or you start calling people that you didn't know. How did that start, and how did that grow? I mean, your first weeks, first month, second month. What was your
Yeah.
challenges? Tell us
There's
the whole story from the beginning for those people that are watching and saying, wow, I want to be like Margie. And I
yeah.
want them to hear your story from the beginning because now they see, we're going to go a little bit later about on the story. How big is your team now? But tell us from the beginning. How did that work?
So first of all, I've never liked rejection. So I knew that it would be a little bit hard for me when people told me no. I knew that. Also, so for my very first meeting, I invited, I don't know, 30 or 40 people. I'm like, come over. You got to see this. I'm going to demonstrate this for you. You're going to flip out. It's great. And at that very first meeting, I had 4 people come and
Okay.
two joined me. 2 of the 4 joined me. And Edgardo, I have a really resilient spirit. So even though a lot of people didn't show up, in my mind, I thought ratios. If I get 50% of
Oh,
the
wow.
people who show up every time, this is going to work. So I doubled my efforts and invited twice as many people the following week, and no one came.
What the second meeting? No one show up.
No one showed up. No one showed up. And what's hysterical is my son just the other day, who at the time was like 4 or 5, and he would see me doing these meetings. And I was telling him how things are really taking off right now for me in India. And he said, Mom, it's just like back in the day when at first you had nobody come to your meetings. And then within a couple of years, there was standing room only. And like just that he remembers. But honey, I mean, true story here. I had so much drive, but I had no money. And so if I had a team member, I live in Utah, and I had a team member in California invite me to come and do a meeting and promise me so many people, right? So I got in my car and I drove to California, and I couldn't afford to stay in hotels. So I found a well-lit hotel parking lot and I slept in my car. And then the following morning, I would go to the gas station. I would throw on a dress. I had my electric curlers, plug them in the gas station bathroom, curl my hair, and off to these meetings I would go saying, join me. We're going to become millionaires.
Oh,
And
wow.
maybe there were 8 people and I'd driven for 9 hours, 10 hours, but I was undaunted in my spirit. I really had strong vision of what was possible. And so I just kept going. And gradually, I mean, the duplication happened. And I'll tell you where it really took off. About I don't know, handful of months, maybe close to a year in the business, I did the Christmas shopping show in Salt Lake City. And because this was a product that you could demonstrate, right? Like people ended up with like really cool looking, one cool looking nail. I met a woman, and at the time she owned a tennis pro shop. And did the nail, and I said, you know what? You should do this business. I was always talking about the business, this product. It's selling like hotcakes. And so she said, yeah, maybe. She came back the next day and she said, so what do I do? And I mean, I didn't know. I was like, well, you buy one from me at the retail cost, and then let's get you 10 of these ordered, and we'll have them shipped to your house, and I'll help you sell them, and you'll make such and such dollars. So it was incredible because her products, I guess, arrived. I called her a few days later and she said, I've sold them already. They're sold. All 10. I'm like, all 10? All 10 are gone? And she's like, yeah. And we haven't even had our meeting yet. I'm like, well, you better order 10 more. That month, she sold 40. And I would go to all these meetings with her and same thing. Buy one from your hostess at retail, buy 10 at wholesale. We'll come help you sell them. And in her first full month in the business, keep in mind, this is 1990, right? She made $5,200. Now, Edgardo, I had a money story, not just a product story. I had a money story of a woman who owned a tennis pro shop who got involved in the business and made $5,200 in her first full month in the business. And this company, when I started with them, they were doing $28,000 a month worldwide.
Wow.
And within 1 year, we were doing 1.4 million in my group. Like, I just was ignorance on fire.
In your first year, you were doing $1.4 million on your group?
Yeah. Yep. 1.4
Wow.
million a month in my
A
group.
month. Yeah,
The
a month. Volume.
By the end of the first year. Yeah.
Wow. But at the beginning, I mean, it wasn't easy.
At
I
the
mean,
beginning, it was so hard. Lots
I
of
mean,
rejection.
I
We
mean,
would drive for hours and nobody would show up, and people told me no, and it was hard. It was it takes resilience. If I could
wow.
say anything, this business takes resilience and vision
And
because
determined, and discipline, determined. I mean,
yes,
driving 9 hours, sleeping on the parking lot, getting ready on the bathroom,
yes,
getting up and saying, "We're going to do it. We're going to become billionaires." Wow, wow, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, those are the people that make it to the top. Those are the legends, the future legends, the people who do that and overcome those challenges. Right here,
well,
Margie, legend in the industry, and so
you've heard the statement that obstacles are the things we see when we take our eye off the goal. If your
yeah.
eye is fixed on the goal, you don't notice the minutia. You don't notice the obstacles. Yes, the no's hurt, and it's difficult when somebody says yes, and then all of a sudden they go MIA. You're like, you have such big hopes for them, and then all of a sudden they don't return your calls. I mean, all of that is going to happen. However, you're looking for those who are looking for you. And remember always, you've got the gift. You've got the gift with your product. You've got the gift with your business model. You've got the gift. So stand tall and hold your shoulders back and lift your head up and proudly put one foot in front of the other, because you're looking for those who are looking for you, and you don't need everyone. You just need those who are looking for you.
So, Margie, so let me ask you, from the beginning of network marketing to making the first $1 million in commission, it took you what, like 2 years, 3 years? Because that's the first goal in the industry, make the first $1 million.
Yes,
Do you
yes.
know?
By the third year for sure, maybe even close by the end of the second year. I was pretty relentless.
So you would say 3 or less years, you make your first $1 million.
Yeah. Oh, I made my first $1 million on that one product. That product, I made my first $1 million. Now, of course, there are a lot of other products now, but incidentally,
So that's the most difficult, to make the first $1 million. What about the second million? It took you what? The second million, a year and a half?
It happens faster. Yeah.
So, and you didn't have those challenges like from the beginning, right? I mean,
challenges in the beginning, no question. And then, there are always ups and downs, right? Like new management teams, the compensation plan might change, that, that the product you love might no longer be there. I mean, there are always going to be ups and downs. So yeah, you just have to be super resilient.
Wow. So right now, in how many countries do you have business? Do you have members in the company? And how long you've been you've been only in one company, right?
Yeah. 35 years. This company for 35 years.
35, wow, yes. 35 years, one company.
Yeah.
And you're doing business in how many countries? Do you know?
38, I think 38 countries. I have teams in 38 countries.
You have team in 38 countries. And how many
Yeah.
countries have you traveled and see these people in person? Do you know?
Yeah, mostly all of them. I mean, I've probably have been to, I think the last count, I've been to 63 countries. Maybe that some of that was just leisure travel, but yeah, I'm hands on. I'm on my way to India on April 2nd, and
Next
it's
week. Next week, right?
next week, and it's my 12th time there since COVID. So
Wow.
I'm
12th time in India doing
yeah,
business.
yes.
Wow. Wow, 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 wow. So you've been in 63 countries. Do you give
Visited.
credit? You visited 63 countries.
Yeah.
Do you give credit to network marketing and the
Oh,
business that what we do for traveling all over the world?
100%. 100%. Yeah, when I was a young girl, I'd probably been in 3 states. When I was Miss Teenage Utah, we went to, a few other countries, but otherwise, no, my travel began when I built this business.
And how
Yes.
big is your team right, Margie? How big is your team right now? Do you know?
So I would, just kind of ballparking it.
Yeah.
The largest, we can talk about this story in a minute. But
Okay.
well over 100,000 globally, maybe more than that.
More than 100. I would say way more than 100,000.
It's
Okay.
yeah,
So
it's possible. Yeah.
yeah. So tell us about story. Those stories, like, I mean, I have here a lot of stories of person that you, I mean, you just shared the business probably with an Uber or someone in any country that you
Oh yeah.
just tell me some stories in this 35 years that you've been with one person.
Okay. So I'll share my very favorite story with you. This is going back in. This is probably like 1992. And the reason it's such a rich story is because to this day, I am connected with the people. So the situation is this. I'm a little girl from Utah, right? Not that sophisticated. And I get invited to come to New York City to do a meeting with my team there. So I fly to New York. I'm a little intimidated, really. And on my way to the meeting, our cab driver got lost. And we didn't even have like those big brick Motorola phones. There was no cell service, nothing. So I show up for this meeting and I'm about 40 minutes late. And I just was sweating bullets. I was embarrassed. People were like fanning themselves, irritated, giving bad looks, and I walked in. I just wanted to disappear into the earth. But I did a really quick, business overview, company, products, comp plan, timing, our basic opportunity overview. And then I said, if there's anyone who wants to know more or has any questions, come up and talk to me afterwards. So Edgardo, this Russian gentleman came up to me, and keep in mind, I just wanted to disappear. I felt like it was the worst meeting of my life. I was late. I was embarrassed. It wasn't my fault, And this Russian gentleman comes up, shakes my hand, and says, I'm taking this to Russia. And my immediate response was, good. Because at that point, I had stopped listening to people's words. I waited for their actions. So I didn't even get that lit up. He's like, I'm taking this to Russia. I shook his hand, patted him on the back, and I'm like, tell me how I can help you. That's great. Welcome aboard. Well, about 3 months later, what I didn't know is he started shipping products over in suitcases to Russia. We weren't open in Russia. And it was just right after the breakup of the Soviet states. And so people were hungry for free enterprise. So he was shipping products over. All of a sudden, I started seeing these names show up on my printout. Irina, Pizarevsky, Valentin, Igor, Roman, Svetlana, all these names. Pretty soon there were pages and pages of them. And at one point, pretty soon there was another zero on the end of my check. Also, incidentally, another zero on the end of my check.
We like those zeros. We like to have those zeros on the right.
Yes, yes. So at one point, I decided I wanted to order an entire downline printout to see how many people I actually had from, keep this in mind, one meeting, one that I thought was a flop.
You were late 40 minutes.
So I ordered the whole printout. Remember those green and white, like computer paper? They bifolded, perforated edges. I ordered this thing. It came to the door. I pulled it out of the box, and literally it stood this high. I flipped it over, and at the back where it has the total, there were over 500,000, over 500,000 people. And it taught me my greatest lesson in life and business. And that is that there is a sowing season, a time to plant, and there's a reaping season, and they don't come in the same season. And the only thing we control is what we plant. We can't control what grows necessarily, right? And I just thought back to all of those meetings, like where I would drive 3 hours and no one showed up, or I would drive 9 hours and 8 people came. And I just thought of all of those times. And then I got to say, like, the creme de la creme of this story happened about 14 years ago. First of all, it just continued to grow. Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, like Ukraine, all over to the Ural Mountains, all the way like Siberia. I had people everywhere. My kids, when I would take my kids to travel with me there, my children would stand in line and sign autographs because these people's lives had been changed so dramatically from this business. So 14 years ago, I'm invited to Bulgaria, and we're having a big celebration. And so I was speaking to what was almost, Edgardo, like a stadium of people. And one of my mentors taught me, sometimes when you go on stage, don't just jump into your presentation right away. Take a minute and be present. So in that moment, I stood there and I looked around this giant arena, and the words that came to my mind is, what if I'd quit? What if I'd quit? But I didn't. And here are all these people. The following night, we had our gala event. If you've ever been to a Russian party, you know they last all night long. At 1:00 in the morning, they brought out a giant birthday cake to celebrate how long the company had been in the region. And then they invited to the stage, wait, I think I've got this. They invited to the stage all of the children of the distributors. And onto the stage filed 150, 200 children. And I was just sobbing, thinking, I started this business for 4 children, to give 4 children a better life. And now the ripple effect of children, like I brought this so you could see it. Look at this. This is actually, this is it. This is these children that came to the stage because I didn't quit. There are children whose names I will never know, who have entrepreneurship in their heart. So that there's a sowing season and a reaping season. And you don't always get your harvest from where you think you might. Like you plant some seeds, you get all excited, you think it's going to grow, and maybe it doesn't. And then all of a sudden you do one meeting in New York that you think is horrible, and you get a nation. multiple nations. So I think it's the thing I love most about this business. Like, you never know. You never know.
Yes, Margie, for those people that, you know what, they want to be like Margie and they want to, they're just coming to the industry right now. What advice would you give them?
Well, a couple of things. One, I would say, look keep your vision looking at in the distance. Don't expect immediate gratification. Don't set yourself up for frustration by having inaccurate expectations. Come in like I did, plant your flag, make a whatever it takes decision, stay in constant action, because you can make a decision and not act, and then nothing will happen. And if you're afraid or timid or intimidated or concerned what people might think, realize they don't pay your bills. This is your business. You get to be on purpose doing what you were born to do, which is make a difference in people's lives based on the platform that you choose. And the other thing would be, stay in a place of service. Because if you get your feelings hurt because someone says no, who's that about? Is that about them or is that about you? It's about you. If you are truly in a place of service, like you want to make a difference on this planet with your product and the business, you want to make a difference by by helping them transform their life. If you really want that, that's the servant heart. If you get into a kind of more greedy mindset where you have dollar signs in your eyes, then yeah, you're going to be super, super sad when people tell you no. But if you genuinely care and realize that you're the one with the gift, you've got the gift. You've got the answer for them through your product and through creating a business where they can take ownership of their life. So stay in a place of service, never give up, take action every single day, even when you don't feel like it, one foot in front of the other, and focus on and celebrate your actions and delay the gratification. Be willing to let it take however long it takes.
Margie, have you ever been with that drive, that energy? Because you have so much energy. You're so, you're always excited. You're always motivated. Have you always been like that?
No, I think I've grown into this, and I have to say that it's because I have passion for what I do. And I see what I'm doing is making a difference in people's lives. So I'm living on purpose. And I think when you truly find your purpose, it just fills you with joy that is incredibly contagious. And yes, I am passionate. Edgardo, like, we're opening in Mexico and I'm just like bouncing off the walls. I'm bouncing off the walls, excited for that new adventure. I'm so excited about what's going on in India. I'm excited that we're going to be launching, new markets. And I really feel that I was born for this. I feel like this is a platform where I can make the biggest difference in people's lives. Entrepreneurship changes your life. You have to become, right? It's really who you become in the process of doing what you do that is the thing that matters. Because you guys, life is so short, right? Like, we're here for a few breaths and then we're gone.
Yeah.
And the stuff stays behind, right? The stuff stays behind. But who you become and who you help other people become, I believe that lasts.
That stays forever. That stays forever. And you and people's too. And if you stop today, if you say, you know what, I'm just gonna travel. But I'm not gonna build the business. Would you get paid month to month?
Yes. There's nothing I could do to stop what I've started, because now people have their own dream in their own heart that burns brightly. When I go to sleep at night, people on the other side of the world wake up. They're building their dream, not mine. I just to get to be the recipient of a leveraged income because I never quit. And I kept talking to people. Even now, I'm just continuing to talk to new people every day in a hope to make a difference for them.
Yeah. So the question that it comes from there to follow up, because you share with me Mexico is about to open, and you're excited to go. Have you ever done business in Latin America before? Say,
Yes.
Mexico, America.
Yes. It's my favorite. It's my favorite. I just love the heart and the vibrance of that culture. I just I feel at home there. Home. Like it's my soul is happy there.
What makes you going? What makes you motivated to keep going? Like from the beginning, with that energy, that motivation. You share a lot, but I mean, is this the way you've been pretty much? I mean, nonstop for 35 years.
Oh, there are definitely ups and downs. There are times when you kind of feel like you plateau a little bit, but you just kind of grow like this. And then there are times when it just takes off and you grow like this. Then there'll be a little dip. I mean, but I think the thing that fuels me is I know that I can make a difference in people's physical health. That's huge. And I know that entrepreneurship changes people. And in the beginning, it was all about providing a better life for my children. Guess what? Mission accomplished. Check that one off the list. And now I think, aside from this is my platform to serve, I want to show my grandkids and my children, I want to make them proud. I want to make them proud that even, when everyone I know that's my age is retired, I'm not. Why would you retire from your purpose, right? And
Yeah.
so I want to show them how life can look when you continue to pursue your purpose and you continue to make a difference in people's lives.
And help those people that had the same problem, like
Yes.
to
Yes.
provide for their families, the
Yes.
same, pretty much the same people, like they want to start today, that they have families, they want a better life, they want to have more time, they want travel. Because going back to traveling, that's very one. When you ask someone, what do you want to do in life? Guess what they say? I want to travel around the world.
Travel the world. Yeah.
Most people, they cannot because they have a job. They cannot travel.
Right.
Okay, they don't have
Right.
money. They don't have enough money to travel. Okay, so
Right.
so this is perfect because they give you the leverage to have money and to travel, which will give you a
Yes.
lot of time. So
Yeah.
and you know what? So you went 12 times to India. You open India, and you're about to open. In what month is going to open Mexico?
Dubai. We're opening Mexico this quarter. This quarter. So if there is anybody listening and you want to,
Mexico, you said, right? Mexico.
yeah, in Mexico. But
So
we'll move throughout Latin America, and I know Colombia's on the radar as well. So we'll move very quickly into the other regions, and we're opening in Dubai.
okay, so we're gonna leave your Instagram, Facebook, your website, all your information right here on this show, so people can connect with you. People like if there's a lot of people gonna be watching this show from Mexico, from South America, and if you connect with Margie, okay, send her a message. Say, Margie, I saw the show, and I want to know what you're doing. So
I would that.
I mean, Margie, you're a legend. I mean, you wrote a book. How many? I mean, you wrote a book how long ago? Tell us about that experience. Do you have it with you? We're gonna do the show. So tell us tell us a little bit about the book.
So the book is called How to Get Absolutely Anything You Want.
Wow.
What it's really about is the art of creating. It's kind of designed to be a workbook as well as a read. And I've heard from so many people that take the time to do the exercises in the book, like the deep discovery that they find for themselves. And I've had people tell me that it's life changing when you really use the book as it was meant to be. But it takes you through the steps of when you get that little bit of inspiration, just that little tickle at the top of your head that says, an idea. What do you need to do step by step to bring that into your reality so it's no longer a thought, no longer an idea, no longer a vision out there, but you're holding it in your hand? What is that creative process? So that's
Where can
this
they
book.
buy it? Tell us, where can they buy the book?
Amazon.
Okay. So we're gonna, we're gonna put the link right here so you can, order the book and leave us comments about the book, anything on the show right here on comments. So, Margie, I met you, I don't know, probably about, I saw you here in Vegas.
Years ago, 10, 15 years ago, we actually face
Yeah,
to face.
yeah, but I met you one time here
Years.
on one
Years.
big event. You were a trainer. You were the speaker for that big event. I don't know how big was that event, like 30, 40,000 people.
1,000. Yes.
You were one of the main speakers there.
Yes.
So tell us about the experience. Were you a good speaker at the beginning or no?
Um, I think that I have become, certainly I've become a better speaker, but it's always been kind of a natural thing for me to teach and train. But over time, I I have become better for sure, for sure. I think when you have passion in your heart and you also want to be, how do I say this? Like, I just want to be a vehicle to make a difference. And I think when you come at it with that perspective that, sometimes you could be speaking and you just kind of get this download, but, yeah, I love it. And I love what social media has brought into our world because you can reach people and create connections with people that you may never ever be able to meet. And, all of you could just find like-minded people. And that's why I'm so grateful, Edgardo, that you're doing this show because you are giving voice to those of us that have been in profession for a very long time. And that will end out making connections. People find their people, right? So yeah, I love speaking. I feel like it is, maybe it's become a gift that I've developed. And thanks. Yeah. Yeah.
Margie, this is a role model. There's so many single moms out there that are looking for an opportunity. They are looking an opportunity for their kids, just like you have. That was
I know.
35 years ago. And today, there is hundreds of thousands of single moms or anybody that want to
Yeah.
provide a better life for their family. That's the reason I got involved in this
It's
industry.
in my heart. You too?
Of course, 100%. I got
Yeah.
involved in 1992. At that time, I had one daughter and was waiting for the second daughter. And I want to send them to a private school, a good education. And you want the best of the best for your kids.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
let's go about public speaking. Well, give us some experience because you're a great, great speaker. So tell us some
Heavens.
experience.
Oh, heavens. I've had some really funny experiences. I
Tell us.
remember once when I was going to Costa Rica, my bags went to Japan, and I'm kind of little. I don't know if you can tell, but like I've got very little feet, so like nobody. I have a size 5 shoe, and so I remember being on stage in someone else's clothes, and the sleeves came down, like covering my hands. They were too big. I was sloshing around in shoes that didn't fit. I remember once doing a meeting in Mexico, and it was so hot. I remember like the sweat drizzling down my back. But it's that feeling of, it doesn't matter what my personal circumstance is. There are people who are here who are giving me their time. I take it very, very seriously. But yeah, I think it's one of the things that I'm really passionate about. And I certainly have had some really, like, funny experiences, especially with translation, right? Like here I am, like, speaking with a Russian translator, and that phrase of burn the ships,
Yes.
right? And what that means is, don't have an escape hatch. Don't leave yourself an open door to quit. Burn the ships, right? You've heard that?
Yes.
So I'm telling this story. And my translator, she just stopped. And she said, "Why would you burn the sheep?" I'm like, "I didn't say sheep. I said ships." Just, why would you burn the sheep? So many funny stories. And you just kind of keep going. Okay, no, I didn't say burn the sheep. I said burn the ships. So sometimes, funny stories like that.
So here on our show, anything else that you want to share? Anything that comes in your mind for our audience that are watching? Anything that it comes, say, I want to, I have this from my heart that I want to share right now.
Yes, there is one more thing that I want to share, because if someone listens and they resonate with this, I want you to reach out to me. About 10 years ago, myself and a few other network marketing direct sales women read a book called Half the Sky. It's about the marginalization of women, particularly in developing nations. And when I read that book, I was so disturbed that I didn't sleep well for a couple of weeks. And I knew I needed to do something about it. And as just divinity would have it, a couple of other friends had read the book and felt the same way. So we came together, 3 of us. We chose a name, Women United for Change. We made a little video, paid to make a video. And then we started looking for a platform where we could make a difference in women and girls' lives across the globe. We found global communities and their Women Empowered program. You guys, this was 10 years ago. There were 3 of us. And we started talking to other women and men, and who just embraced this project. And to date now, we've raised over $2.2 million. What we love about this platform is that these women establish their own micro businesses, whether it's raising chickens and selling eggs. And then gradually they micro lend to each other in these small, women empowered groups. And so we've been to Tanzania, we've been to Guatemala, I've seen all of the projects in India. I mean, talk about teaching a woman to claim her own voice in a rural region in India called Bihar. The first thing they teach those women is to write their own name. And I've seen now firsthand the results of these women becoming empowered with their own micro businesses, and how it impacts not just their family, first of all, domestic violence goes to 0 when mama's making money, right? Like, it just solves so many problems when women get a little bit of economic power. They distribute it differently and they pay it back in their communities. And the ripple effect, my friends, changes the world. I myself, my life has been so blessed. I'm not even remotely that same young girl that said yes to this business 35 years ago. And I attribute that to my persistence and resilience for sure, but to a chance, my chance to be an entrepreneur. Now we can pay it forward, and $50 gives one woman access to this program that not only changes her life and her family's life, but ripple effects into the community in such a profound way. Literally, I believe, changes the world. And so at the end of last year, my friend and I, who started this, Lauren Robin, we started this 10 years ago on this platform, which is the same one that Bill Gates and Melinda Gates use for all of their global gifting. My friend and I were acknowledged as global change makers of the year. And my husband said, you know, Margie, other than raising your children and the lives you've impacted, that might be the most important thing you've done with your life. So I just invite anybody that resonates with paying it forward. You don't have to gift a lot. A little bit goes a long way. But when you look into those beautiful big brown eyes and you see them stand tall and how their children respect them and the transformation, man, talk about gratifying experience. So yeah, I wanted to share that. Thank you for letting me.
No, I mean, wow, wow, wow. And you started doing that, I mean, that project, that platform with your friend, how
10
long?
years ago. 10 years
10,
ago.
10 years ago. Wow, wow. So, one more question, Margie. How do you want to be remembered? Do you want to leave a legacy, or what legacy do you want to leave?
Um, I can say it in one word. Love. Love. I want every person whose path I cross to be better because I lived. I want to be an example of love. I want everybody around me to feel that love and to have it impact their heart and who they are.
Wow, Margie, we've been here sharing all this experience from the beginning, from your personal life, all the way visiting 63 countries, building teams in 38 countries, about to go to Mexico, South America. I mean, you just getting started right now, the way I see it. I mean, you have so much energy, so much passion. I mean, all I can say is, wow, wow, wow. You are a role model on this industry. And thank you. I feel honored to have you on my show and come and share all these experiences because it's going to change people's life, every single
I
person.
hope so. I hope so.
I mean,
I
and
hope so.
here, and you know what? And saying, man, I cannot do this. They've been listening your story, driving 9 hours, sleeping on the parking lot. I mean, all this experience that you have to overcome to get where you are today. That you pretty much came.
You can just build from the palm of your hand. It's so much easier, right?
Yeah, before we didn't have the social media. I mean, we didn't have anything like that. Today, it's much easier, but you still have to do, I mean, those calls. You still have to do the basics. You
Yes, you
know,
did.
you still have to do your list. I mean, there's, I
And
mean,
Gardo, you've always been on my list, FYI.
so, and you know what?
Always
We
loved and
always,
admired you.
oh, we
Always
always,
loved and admired you.
and we always have that respect and, and the friendship, and we always have the same vision to
Yes,
help to make a difference in this
yes,
industry
yes,
because we were there one day and we know that there's so much to do.
Yes.
And one more time, thank you. Thank you for being here, okay? And we're going to do it again because this 45 minutes was not enough. Okay, there's much more, and you want to hear how how this trip goes your 12th time, and maybe the next time is going to be like you're going to tell us about how Mexico is going, and
Okay. Yes.
if anybody said, you know what, I'm doing business with Margie because this show, I want you to comment right
Oh,
here.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you.
Yeah, and you're gonna say right here on the show, you know what? I connect to Margie, and we have a huge business like that story. The Russian person that was on that meeting, okay, said, you know what? This didn't happen in a meeting today. It will happen on Edgardo Valdivieso Show. Don't forget.
Me amo. Me amo, querido. Me amo.
Don't forget to subscribe, to give us a like, and comments right here. Make all the comments right here. Tell us. Tell us. So thank you once again, and bye. Have a safe trip to India, okay?
Thank you, sweetheart. I will.
Bye-bye.
Bye.